Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to TTML F1. We are here tonight for Season 7, Round 5 of the Championship as we take on the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix from the Jeddah Corniche Street Circuit. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as always here on a Sunday night, and joining me in the comment box for the first time in 2 weeks, it is Mr. Pepsi Freak. Pepsi, how you doing?
I don't think it's been 2 weeks. I think it's only been a week, but it's still good to be here regardless for a race in Saudi Arabia. We have to obviously follow the main attraction, the main F1 race that just happened about an hour ago, maybe a little bit less. But I think the TTML drivers can fare well under that pressure and should provide some great racing. And if what happened in real life is anything to go off of, it should be the same fate here today.
It'll be better than real life. I will guarantee you that. I've commentated every single race around this track in any single league that I have done. And honestly, I've seen photo finishes, I've seen safety cars, I've seen all sorts around this track. We should see a really good race, I think, in Saudi Arabia, and hopefully that is backed up, of course. Yeah, hopefully that's backed up, though, by the drivers' performances, of course, out on track, with it being such a tight-knit street circuit and the fastest street circuit on the F1 calendar, 80% of which can be taken at full speed. Jensen, of course, leading the championship, and to remind you what happened before we went into that break week, of course, in China, Jensen, Tom and Lynx rounded off the top three. So Jensen leads the way on 121 points, Lynx in second on 76, Rudy in third on 73, Tom is in fourth on 58, Boss Wanted in fifth on 54, Medsi in sixth on 51, Funky Chicken in seventh on 47. Looks like his internet though has gone down the drain, so he's not racing tonight. Smalley in eighth on 46, Colsbury in ninth on 42, along with Fleddy rounding off the top 10, also on 42 points. Then we've got Blackbox, Hyper, Zoidema, Ares and Chris. Khan, Chokers, Steph, Bastian, Davey are the top 20 drivers, of course, in the driver's standings coming into tonight. Jensen obviously holding more than a race win advantage compared to Lynx, and obviously we saw last time out Jensen bounce back to form.
Yep, Jensen bounced back to form last week as well. Tom still looked pretty strong on the most part there. One thing to note, though, is remember, Jensen is going to miss at least one race this calendar year, so something to keep an eye out for, and you don't want to leave points on the table if you're some of the other drivers here. Now, the shock is I know we kind of have a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a laugh at his expense, but sadly, no Khan here today as well. Usually faced with his friendly supporters in the chat, always coming up to show up in droves, and sadly, the Khan will not be here at least tonight in that Ferrari.
Yeah, Khan definitely, just to clarify on that, on his movement actually within TTML, he got dropped down to reserve because you saw him in the first couple of races of the season. He was a little bit off the pace, and we considered, obviously, that a driver from the reserves might necessarily get a seat. So Steph has stepped up in the Aston Martin, and he is going to be, of course, replacing Khan in that realm. But Khan, of course, is still a reserve, more than welcome, of course, to join whenever there is a free space, like, of course, here tonight. And Khan, obviously, I want to just pay tribute to him because you don't often see drivers like him from taking basically down from TTML F5 all the way up to TTML F1, taking that big step up. I have to commend him entirely, and it's fantastic, of course, to see somebody like that, and hopefully that is just the first of many drivers that we have in TTML. Going to be, of course, stepping up to TTML F1. We'll run through the constructor standings quickly as well off the back of the Chinese Grand Prix. Red Bull, of course, leading the way on 172 points. Mercedes in second on 120, McLaren there in third on 118, AlphaTauri in fourth on 85, Haas in fifth on 70, Alfa Romeo in sixth on 61, Alpine in seventh on 54, Ferrari in eighth on 36, Aston Martin ninth on 29, and Williams in 10th on 23 points. The drivers looking like they are ready to go here within the lobby, and obviously Pepsi coming into tonight, Red Bull 52-point advantage over Mercedes. They have looked quite consistent, however, of course, we've seen Medsi struggle in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, Medsi has been kind of a bit of a weak link there. He started the first two rounds pretty strong, but his Silverstone was the first major sign that maybe the ship was taking on water, and then China made it even worse. So hopefully that kind of that off week kind of got him kind of regrouped here, and hopefully kind of start the second half of, I guess you get to break the season down into three halves. Hopefully the second half here is a lot stronger than how the first half ended, and maybe some of the problems have been fixed. But only time will tell. But I think there's only one Mercedes driver in the field, so if both Red Bull drivers finish well, they will gain on the Mercedes.
Yeah, definitely so. I think, obviously, if there is only one Mercedes driver here, that one Mercedes driver, of course, is going to be pretty much doing the lion's share of the work, of course, here tonight. And obviously, second in the constructors, they might dip down to third, of course, with there being two.
Yeah, because Chicken's the other Mercedes. So, yeah, he's got no internet. So, yeah, it's only one. So, yeah, it's Rudy.
It's only Rudy, but Rudy's still third in the championship, so I think the lion's share is going to be shared, I think, with Rudy. And obviously, coming into tonight as well, we are here at the Jeddah Street Circuit, the Jeddah Corniche Street Circuit, to give it its full name. 27 turns awaiting the guys out of the track. It is very, very good, and it's very, very easy to get lost around this track. And obviously, it's 6.1 kilometres in length. It is the third longest track, I think, in the F1 calendar, if I'm not mistaken, bar Baku and Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. And, of course, Lewis Hamilton took the win famously in 2021. We saw the race literally happen around 40 minutes ago. If you weren't watching that race, I'm just going to ruin it for you now. Charles Leclerc, of course, finished second behind Max Verstappen. Verstappen took the win, of course, in Saudi Arabia. Are we going to get a possible Red Bull win here tonight, though, with Jensen, of course, doing the frame for the Red Bulls, and he's actually one of the first men out on track. I think the first man out on track, though, is Juan Rocco.
Yeah, Juan Rocco was the first one. I'm going to call my shot now. Next year's Saudi Arabian GP, it's going to be Charles Leclerc winning, because it seems like the second-place driver ends up becoming the best winner the next season. So watch out for Leclerc to win next year's Saudi Arabian GP. But yeah, I think Juan Rocco is the farthest driver out on the circuit right now. Yes, he is. He's currently, if my map is actually backwards, but I think I got to flip that in a second. But he's currently in the second sector here, about to hit the end of it. So he's around corner 2021. So... Yep. He's going to be starting third sector soon. I think he'll give us kind of a good thing, because the walls can sneak up on you, and like Suzuka, as we just see him kind of cut there, like Suzuka and like some other tracks, it's all about positioning and line placement. If you enter wrong, you kind of compromise your whole run, and your momentum's lost. So it's a situation where the best drivers that can know how to hit those lines successfully and keep the car consistently and keep the flow good, be like water, to quote Bruce Lee, are going to be the best at this circuit. So something to keep an eye out for as Juan Rocco's about to start his run.
That's a very wide run coming out the final corner from Juan Rocco. He's now coming across the line, of course. He's on a set of medium compound tyre. We should see, I think, a 28 lap time, possibly, from Juan Rocco on this compound tyres. You can put the National Lottery numbers, of course, for the Euro Millions, as he's actually just invalidated coming through turn number 2. So don't put the National Lottery numbers on just through turn 2. He took too much curb, basically, coming through turn 2, and he's running miles wide coming through turn 5 as well. It would have been invalidation through there. So we'll run on board then with Tom, who I believe is on lap, the Shazoo man, of course. Formerly IFR man, getting very close to the wall through turn 4, then through the right hander of turn 5, and then to the double left of 6 and 7, through the right hander of 8, through the right hander of 9, and then to the left hander, of course, of turn 10, where, of course, we saw that horrible incident with Mick Schumacher. Very glad to report he is okay after that incident, and I think that's the best thing to do, obviously, and we wish Mick Schumacher well, and hopefully he'll cover for Australia. Tom, it's the wall coming out of turn 13. It was a 30.1, though, through the first sector from the Brit. I think he's backed off his lap, and that just comes to show the nature of the actual track here. I think Smalley is the next one then on our lap. Yeah, Scotsman coming through 16 and 17, and of course there is normally a DRS zone. In real life there is a DRS zone. There isn't here on the game. The other DRS zone is one Rocco was retired out on track just through 23. He has just through 23. Where Smalley is basically approaching now, so we'll get to see his car on the right hand side. Oh, he's crashed right in the middle of the track. Goodness me, he must have got caught on the outside curb, but either hit the wall or caught on the outside curb and had spun the car around. He's just smashed into the wall, the Williams. Smalley though has looked quite good on this lap. He's coming in towards turn 27, the final corner, of course, where famously, of course, we saw Leclerc and Verstappen going at it just around 50 minutes ago, and pretty much slowing like snail's pace going through the corner. But Smalley on the run to the line, 27.4, and do you know what? That is actually a really good bank lap.
Yeah, I was going to say Jensen was next man up across the line there, but Jensen backed it down. He was on a set of mediums anyway, but yeah, Smalley, he won. Tom, after conserving P2, I think a little bit of the phlegm that you had the past couple weeks hits him there. Med TC looks like maybe right now problems are rectified, as now he's on pole 2 tenths ahead, and Zoidema third. So the soft runners right now, it's Med TC, Smalley, Zoidema. I think, yep, the AlphaTauri, Tom, yeah, definitely got no front wing. Looks like he made a slight mistake, so no chance to improve for him. Let's see if anyone else is on a run here. I think the Ferrari's close to the line, but he is invalidated. Haas is not far enough back. Aston Martin starting his run. Rudy about to start a run as well. So I think Boss Juan's the next man up. So he's coming through the next couple corners here along with, I believe that's Link's about to cross the line. Yes, he is. So we'll see what Boss Juan can put his Alpine here as he comes off the last corner. Gets very close to the DHL sign. Coming down the long straight. DRS activated. And it's going to be a 28.451 for him, a bit off the pace, as they would say. So time to be found for Boss Juan at the very least. But Med TC is currently your fastest man with Fletty in second and Smalley in third. Feels like opening round again all over again.
It does, to be honest. Boss Wanted's lap looked more like Lewis Hamilton's lap, I've got to be honest, in qualifying. He, I think, missed the first sector completely. 28.4. He's a lot quicker than that. He should be going in the 27s. Carlsbury is on a lap, I believe, coming to the middle sector. He's got Zoiderman just in front of him. There's a wheel in the middle of the track that hasn't been recovered by the marshals. I think Niels Wittig, I think the new race director's getting paid tuppence, I think, to clear that. Colesbury coming through the final corner in towards turn 27. Sorry, Niels, if you are watching. Colesbury through the final corner, on the run to the line. Should be at 28, I think, this lap time. Ooh. He's going to go probably ahead of Boss Wanted or nearby. He goes behind him, 28.6. We saw Jensen as well. On a set of medium compound tyres, interestingly, 27.8. I normally say around this track you can improve anywhere between 1 second and 1.2 seconds. So, in theory, Jensen should be going 26 and should be going provisional pole.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good lap on a set of mediums to kind of put it in perspective, because the next farthest is Carlsby, who we just saw do a 128.640. So they're kind of an off-pace situation there. Then Lynx just goes P3 with a 127.440. So I think Jensen's someone to keep an eye on when he does eventually pit, maybe to go for a set of softs, unless he feels confident on those mediums. But the track is good to passing at, so it's not a situation where you need to get too far up the grid. Now, Daniel, bit of a shock name there, P2, going 127.287 for him, so he will be P2 in his Alfa Romeo.
Rudy was very sideways at the final corner, and he backed off his lap, I think. He's into the pit lane. And of course, just to warn the drivers if they are listening to the stream, we had an incident in TTML F2. I can't remember who exactly it was coming into the pit lane, but basically there is a glitch where you might pick up a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane, even if you don't go over the white line. So that pit stop line coming into the pit lane, the 5-second penalty appears about a second or 2 seconds before that, so if anybody picks it up, please get it in to the steward's office, and I'm sure they will investigate it. I think Noah is on a lap. He's flying through turn 8 and 9, coming to the left-hander of turn 10. This is up there in the first sector from Noah, and Noah's first sector, 30.2, so he's about a tenth of a second off MedTC's first sector, but it's looking good so far. Steph now goes third, the SXT driver, of course, and I just thought I'd mention, while we've got him obviously here, another SXT driver has joined the rounds of PSGL F3, and that of course is Hyper, who is a reserve here in TTML F1, so congratulations to him. Unfortunately for him, he's got me commentating on him on a Monday, so yeah, that's all spirals and everything, as Noah 57.5 through the middle sector.
Yeah, 55%. This is his second run here. First lap, he didn't validate through the middle section, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see what he can do here if he can keep it clean. He's in the third sector right now. One more corner to go for pay dirt. We'll see if Noah Jones can put that car up. He was good in qualifying before we took a break in China, but he kind of fell like a stone during the race. So it looks like he's got good quality pace, but his race pace is a bit of a question mark. So here comes Noah Jones down the long straight. Where will he put his Alpine car? It could be quickest you are, and it is quickest. Good call there. That's a 127.110 from Nostradamus James are getting the call correct, and that will be P1. But remember, like I said last week in China, he qualified pretty well, but was a bit of a question mark during the race, so he's got to hope he's got that race pace as well, and he's not investing all his skill points in quali. But we'll see if anyone else is on a run here as well. Schroeder's about to start his run. He's starting his out lap. I think Zoidman was on a push lap as well. He's in Sector 1. We got Steph as well, currently in the last corner here, but I think on 2-lap tires, he's probably coming in. We'll see if he quickly pulls in on the track here, along with the other Alfa Romeo Smalley. He's on outlaps. Yeah, he's coming in. So I think farthest on the track right now, I want to say, is Zoidema, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Zoidem was 3 tenths up through the first sector, and I've got to be honest, that did not look quick coming through the first sector, so I do not know how he's 3 tenths per second up. It looked like, again, he was carrying more of Lewis Hamilton's setup in qualifying last night, of course, in the real-life Grand Prix in Saudi Arabia. But Zoidem is coming through the middle sector. Of course, the DRS zone normally would be here. We see the DRS zone on this track, though, in the game between turns 12 and 13. He's nearly 5 tenths up, so you need to gain the time back, of course, running down the straight. I believe he has got an Alpine in front of him. I think that's Noah just backing off his lap. Could have picked up. Yeah, I think he did, to be honest. I think he's just came off an out lap. As MedTC, did he spin, did you say there?
No, Rudy spun. MedTC's on a lap right now. He's 2 tenths up, so keep an eye on MedTC as he comes to the last couple corners here. But yeah, Rudy's a bit slow, and his car was the wrong way around. So I think Rudy made a slight mistake in the same spot where Duranjo ended up crashing out. So that corner could be a little bit tricky here. As MedTZ hits the last corner, he has 2 temps up. This could be breaking into the 126 if he can keep his foot down. Yellow flag's blaring, but that's not going to be enough to stop him. Here comes MedTZ. It's going to be a 127, 105. So close, but no cigar getting to the 126, but that will give him provisional pole by 5 thousandths of a second.
5 thousandths of a second. Black Box has just came off a lap, I believe. Fleddy has just started one. Zoidema is on one as well. Wonder what Jensen's doing. He's on the run down towards someone. I think he's just set onto a lap. So I'm not sure actually who was furthest on. Boss Wanted has backed off. Shender has not on a lap. Rudy's invalidated, so he's off coming through where Sonoda parked it, of course, and the formation lap in real life. But it's MedTZ out on top. Noah Jones in second. Daniel there in third. He's about to start a lap as well. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's Black Box that is furthest on, I think.
I believe it's Black Box as well, because he's furthest on, because Lynx is currently back, but he's invalidated. Smalley's also farther back. Flatty is farther back. Zoidema is on her second run, so unless Zoidema's doing this... Yeah, Black Box is backed off. Zoidema's backing off. MedTZ's backing off. I think most drivers are backing off and made slight mistakes.
Jensen 7 tons up through the first sector. He is flying on this lap, though. He's coming through the middle sector now. Coming through 18, 19, 20, 21, and then up the run toward the end of the middle sector, which approaches now, and he's nearly a second up on his lap time. And this is already 26 marks. He runs wide slightly. Oh, really good on the power there. Coming out of 22 and 23. Coming through 24. Now to the double left of 25, 26, and then to the final corner, of course, into 27. Jensen is going to be a class apart, I think, in qualifying here, as he comes around the final corner. Will the Red Bull goes top as Fleddy goes top, 27 flat, but that is going to be absolutely blasted out the park by Jensen's lap on the run to the line. 26.6 on a set of soft compounded tyres, and I said it'll be anywhere between 1 second and 1.2 seconds. He improved by 1.2 seconds. Jensen out on top, 26.6. There's your pole lap right there.
I don't know if anyone could beat it, because Rudy looks a little bit not confident in the car. Same thing with Tom. They're both pretty struggling to put times down here. And I'm not seeing another name that kind of pops out. Now, Carlsby goes P6, 127.228. We also saw Shredder and Fleddy improve, but they are, looks like they're in a different postcode compared to Jensen. So I don't want to say signed, sealed, and delivered, because you never know. But unless Rudy finds more confidence or Tom finds more confidence in their run, I don't see anyone else beating it, as we just saw Ares now go to 20. Well, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Ares now goes 126.757, so let's hold off on the Ferrari of the science and delivery, because if Ares can do that, maybe Fleddy can find improvement, or Stredders. We do got about 5 minutes to go, so I'll hold off on handing off that pole check yet, but Jensen's still looking pretty strong, and he'll have another attempt as well with 5 minutes to go.
He's only a tenth of a second clear of Ares, but I know Jensen can go quicker than that 26.6. I think I've seen him do a 26.2 around here. So Jensen, pressure on if you're listening to the stream. Noah, pressure is on you at the minute, because you are coming through turn 4 and 5, and we're right on board with him now, coming through the complex of 6, 7, then through 8. He's missed the curve completely, and he's in the wall. There's a hard crash into the wall, and he immediately, he should have just backed off coming through turn 6. He tried to feather the throttle through the corner. He didn't. He missed the apex completely through turn 6, through off centre for 7, into the wall just on the exit of turn 7 there, and Noah takes a hard crash. And to be honest, it's not too dissimilar to the crash that Mick Schumacher had in qualifying last night.
Yeah, I was just saying, it kind of reminded me of Schumacher's crash there, only a slightly different angle of hitting, but yeah, that was a big lick, and I think the Virtual Mechanics are going to have a big job and a big task to fix that car, but 9 times out of 10, they always do. So, Noah Jones will be back there, and at least he's P6 now, but with 4 minutes to go, and the track going to get a little bit more less green, there's a good chance we'll see him fall down the order a little bit more, but hopefully he can still hold on to a top 10, or maybe in this case he may want to go P11. But yeah, Jensen leads the way still, Ares second, and a lot of drivers are heading for their outlaps here for what would be their final run here. That list includes MedTC, Steph, Black Box, Lynx, Smalley, and Boss Wanted, but Boss Wanted is obviously on a cooldown lap, so yeah. This is probably put up a shut-up time, and we'll see if any drivers can reach the lap of Jensen with 3:46 to go.
Medisi could be one of those drivers. I think he's going to be first to go on to a lap time here. He's coming through 26 and 27, so we'll see what the Red Bull can do. 27.1 at the minute. He's a tenth of a second off Fleddy's lap time, and he's only in third. Again, another driver that opts to take the wide line coming out the final corner. He just clonks the wall on the right-hand side slightly, just taking a slight bit of speed away, but I don't think it really matters coming down in towards turn number 1. We'll see what MedTC is going to do on this lap. Down in towards turn number 1, and then to the right-hander, of course, of turn number 2. Of course, they've changed the track profile slightly in real life. They've made the track slightly wider in parts compared to what it is in the game. Wish Codemasters would do live updates for it, to be honest. But MedTC's coming through turn number 5, through the double left of 6 and 7, and that's exactly how you want to take 6 and 7. Through 8, through 9, then through 10. MedTC's flying through the first sector. Very consistent first sector, and that's a 30 flat! Through the first sector, purple out of everyone. The Finn, the former F1 Esports Challengers driver, has just hit the wall coming out of turn 13. I was really building him up there. Smalley is retired as well, I think, out on track. That's a weird one. Smalley's retired coming through turn number 8, so that is on track coming through that series of corners.
Black Box is closest, so
yeah.
Let's see what happened. Yeah, this is a straight retirement. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, it's just a straight retirement. So kind of odd place to hit. Doesn't look like he's got much damage, if any, no wheel off. So bits of an odd incident there, as they would say. But I'll let you continue on with your point there, James.
Yeah, MedTC, is that Stefan's very wide, coming through 22 and 23, and he's just invalidated his lap coming through there. He was a tenth and a half up through the middle sector before that point. But yeah, MedTC, 27.1, he looked really consistent through that first sector, and I was building him up so much that I said he was an F1 Esports Challengers driver, of course. He was back in the day, but is he going to get a lap time? As he actually hits the wall, coming out the final corner. I think that's his session run. Into the pit lane he comes. And as if he's just parking the car in the apex. Is he going to get disqualified here? Now, I really don't like this. It says he's in the pit lane. This is a strange one, unless he's disconnecting from the session or something. This is very strange. I think he's going to get disqualified for blocking the pit lane here. I'm right on board with this. It's a very weird place to stop. And yeah, as he's been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. And to be honest, the pit lane is 10 yards in front of you. Why don't you come into the pit lane? It's just strange, and he's starting right at the back of the field, and Jensen is actually invalidating on his lap. Alice is on one, and Rudy goes quickest! Rudy goes quickest! Didn't even see that! What happened?
Rudy was just kind of flying there. I was saying that he's a little bit concerning with his pace, his track. It looked like he was a little bit that, but it looks like he found all his pace, and he was just kind of flying. At the end of Sector 2, he was close, but I didn't know if he was going to get it or not.
Tom!
Tom! So Tom and Rudy, who I was kind of trashing about 5 minutes ago, saying they didn't look confident around this circuit, they're not P1, P2, and Jensen hasn't validated. So Jensen's going to have to back down here. He's got another attempt at this. He's saving all his ERS and all his stuff. So he's going for one more attempt, and he's going to have one lap older softs. So we'll see what he can do here. I think Tom, Rudy are both bailing. We got Aries on a lap 2, but it looks like he's in Sector 1 right now. So keep an eye on Aries as well. Zoidman just crossed the line as well. Start one lap point, improvement of 1:26.951. And we got Fleddy as well. So Fleddy will be first up here. So we got Fleddy, and then we got a handful of others. So we'll see if Fleddy, this is his last chance here. Can he get higher? Can he catch Tom? Can he get one of the 1:26.4s? Good exit. Here comes the entry point. Gonna get as close as he can to the white line without going over. And it's gonna be a 1:26.649 for Fleddy. So Fleddy P3. Now Jensen, the pressure is on.
Ares is a 29.8 through the first sector. He's 2 tenths up in this first sector alone. The TGG man is coming alive around the streets of Jeddah as he now comes through 18, 19 on the long run and towards 22 and 23. Ares is absolutely charging on this lap. 3 tenths up again. Purple in the middle sector. He is currently not doing enough to go on pole position, and he nearly slides his car, and that just loses the speed slightly, and that might not be enough because Ares has lost the speed all the way up towards 27. This time is just going to degrade back, and there's a yellow flag in the middle sector. That's a Haas, I think, that is just backed off as that's on the Cosby as Zoidimer. Ares coming to the final corner, clips the wall at the final corner. This is quick from Ares. Is he going to go top ahead of Tom to the line? No, he lost all that speed coming out of 22 and 23. He had a slight twitch. That slight twitch cost him all the way up to 27, and Ares, if he didn't have that slight twitch, he would have been on pole position. Simple as that.
He would. He would have been on pole position, and with Jensen having a mistake on her second run, Jensen will not make a pole run here. So it looked like Jensen was looking good to be the pole sitter, and now he's down to P5 right now, and he won't go any higher. Zoidema coming in the pits. Fletty, I think, got a cooldown run as well. I think this is qualifying done. Only Carlsby is actually valid. So yeah, that's session done. So Tom and Rudy come from nowhere, you would say, with about 1 minute to go, and take 1-2 Aries Fletty jump as well. And Jensen kind of maybe peaked a little bit too early there. Kind of showed his hand a little bit too early and just couldn't recapitalize. And you said he did 126.2s? Well, the pressure was on, and he couldn't hit that, eclipse that. And he'll be starting P5 with a 126.6 to his name. But as we know with Jensen, he can easily climb his way up through the field, so that is no death sentence that's for sure.
Yeah, around a track like this as well, the drivers behind, especially going into the later laps, the final 2 laps especially, if you're the driver behind, you're not going to tend to attack, and I think if Jensen is in that position, he'll just sit and wait. I've seen him go side by side with Kazizel in the past around here, and it was 300ths of a second to the line between them both in another race that I commentated on around here, which was probably the race of the season in that league as well. Tom Lawad on top, Rudy in second, Arrows in third. We'll run you through the rest of the grid order now, but it's Tom out on top, Rudy in second, Arrows there in third. To be honest, 0.2 of a second covering the top 5 is not bad at all. Fleddy in 4th, Jensen there in 5th, Zoidema there in 6th, Schender in 7th, of course, formerly known as another name in this league. Noah in 8th, Cosby in 9th, Daniel ran off the top 10, Steph there in 11th, Blackbox in 12th, Lynx is dead on a second off the pace in 13th, Boss wanted 14th, Smalley in 15th, Juan Rocco and MayTC didn't get lap times in. MayTC did, however, he decided to disqualify himself and come into the pit lane, and I also saw, just before the end of the session there, Steph bin it into the wall. He was 3.5 tenths up through the first sector. He binned it though straight on in towards turn 13. Stewards might want to have a look at that because that was on purpose.
Yeah, that may be something to keep an eye on as well there at the very least. But again, long race here. Things can be recovered. But yeah, stewards should most likely take a look at this as we do wait on it. And obviously, since we're in the middle of the desert, there's going to be no rain in sight, even though that would be kind of cool to see at the very least. But it'd be very weird because it doesn't feel like it should be there, and maybe not taking those into account. But anyway, as session is about to start here, everyone can make their last-minute adjustments. Top 10, obviously, because rule change, no live updates. They got to start on the tire they qualified on, which is softs. 11th on back. Probably going to go for a set of mediums. I wouldn't be shocked. Maybe someone even goes for a set of hards.
Yeah, luckily for everyone as well, out on track, Nicholas Latifi's not going to be out on track tonight, which is, I think, fortunate for the guys, I guess, out on track, because we saw what happened, of course, in the real-life Grand Prix. Of course, probably not his fault, but it always seems like there's an incident with Latifi out on track at street circuits. But there we are. He's not obviously racing. Juan Rocco, of course, Sol Williams here tonight. But it should be fascinating, as I say, in terms of the strategies. Obviously, top 10 qualifying on that set of soft compound tyres. A spot there in Aston Martin. In fact, everyone further down the field is on a set of medium compound tyres. But just coming back to MayTC, he parked it obviously in the entrance into the pit lane. He got himself disqualified from that session, and he's now down in 17th position. He's in that Constructors fight, of course. His teammate will be wanting him, with Red Bull being, 40 points ahead coming into tonight in the Constructors. Wouldn't you think that MayTC would actually put a performance in and put a shift in for his own teammate to try and help him along? It's almost as if, I'll have to be brutally honest and say this, it's almost as if he's not really trying.
Maybe. And that could be a point as well. Maybe when he feels like the chips are down, he doesn't feel like he's got the pace, and maybe a situation where he feels like I'd rather just basically if he doesn't feel like he can win it, it's something where he just kind of mentally shuts off. But I don't want to throw speculation out here. But if you want to throw it into a crazy conspiracy area, maybe MayTC got himself disqualified, so he gets a free choice tire. Maybe thinking there's a safety car or something, he could work it out. So who knows? Obviously, we don't know what's going on. We don't have driver communications, radio communications, but the stewards probably, again, want to communicate with him at the very least to kind of understand what's going on here, because that could bring up his own set of questions. You don't need people manipulating the rule book for their advantage, even though that is what racing can be at times. But anyway, they're kind of coming around here as well. Tom again leads away, Rudy second, but I don't feel confident in Tom and Rudy. I just feel like they've got good one-lap pace, but are they going to be consistent here? Because it looked like during qualifying, they were really struggling to keep that consistency.
I think so. I think, honestly, I'm immediately looking to Jensen. P5, Red Bull, he's on the cleaner side of the grid as well. He should be there or thereabouts, I think. Certainly down in towards turn number 1. And if he's got Fleddy and Arrows, perhaps, in towards turn 1, he'll set his sights immediately on Tom and Rudy, because they're the two drivers he wants to be fighting with. He wants to be up there, right at the top. And as I said, in qualifying, obviously, if you're further behind in a DRS train, it's actually more to an advantage rather than a disadvantage around here, and it remains to be seen. I'm just going to immediately put out my top 3, though. Jensen for the win, Tom for second, and Rudy for third. Yes, I'm that boring.
Yeah, I feel like I want to throw an Aries. I'm gonna go odd. I'm gonna go Aries, Jensen, Zoidema. There, that's a weird 3. I'll make it a little more exciting.
Very interested indeed. The final cars are now lining up on the back of the grid. TC now rejoining his grid start, and we're about to get going for round 5 of the championship here in TTML F1. It is Tom out on top, Rudy alongside him. The 5 red lights are on here in Jeddah, and it is lights on, away we go, and Tom gets an electric start off the line. Arrows is going to be side by side as well with Rudy in towards turn number 1. He tries to cut across on the outside line, but Rudy, I think, will hold the position, and he does. He remains in second. Tom, though, leads the way. Rudy in second. Fleddy had a really good run, as well as Jensen. He's on the outside line in towards turn number 4. He's not going to go around the outside here, surely. Jensen around the outside of Fleddy gets shoved out, and he's nearly forced into the back of Shender there. Shender has to take avoiding action. A little bit of a Constantine effect, side by side between Steph and Daniel, and Daniel waltzes around the outside. Oh, and Steph, I think, has got damage. Steph has got damage. I think Smalley has gone into the back of someone. There was certainly front wings flying there as well. I think Lynx might have got caught up in that incident as well. But Tom leads the way. Rudy in second. Arrows in third. Lynx and One Rocker all side by side. Both of them haven't got any damage. It's further down the field where we've got the damage. It's Smalley, I think, as well as possibly Boss Wanted. No, it's Smalley on the left side plate.
Noah Jones ran into the back of Steph there in that incident, which caused that damage, and there were some other mistakes there, including what you just listed off. So that's what kind of caused that effect there. So we'll see if anyone kind of pits here. TC was kind of getting a little argy-bargy back. We do got a battle here. Noah Jones kind of getting past like a sinking stone there, and so end up losing a spot both the Lynx and Geronjo there. So 11 and 12 respectively. Noah Jones is obviously going to come in. TC up to 14th, but got a lot of traffic to get through to get back to the top. But yeah, looks like everyone's kind of finding their footing here for the most part. And up front, kind of got a little bit of just a train forming. Oh, we do got Zoidem and Daniel here fighting. I think it's Daniel and Steph, sorry. As Daniel's going to have the inside line here. Daniel's going to hold spot, and Geronjo's going to make move on Lynx. So Lynx, kind of big loser here on the start. Oh yeah, I just saw it. Noah Jones really struggling on exit there.
And Link's got a phenomenal run at the final corner as well, and that's what I was going to ho-ho about, because he's got the move done on One Rocker towards turn number 1. He's doing his into 11. That was a phenomenal run off the exit of the final corner. One Rocker's already picked up a 3-second penalty, and we're only on lap 2 out of 25. Noah, Boss Wanted, and Smalley all into the pit lane, all for front wing damage. So they got caught up in that instant, and that Constantino effect coming through the S section of 14 and 15. But Tom leading the way, Rudy there in second, Aris there in third, Fleddy in fourth. Very good start by everyone. Top 5, I think, have remained as they are. Everyone else has either lost or gained positions, apart from Daniel down there in P10, who is on the back of Steph. But a very good start by all. Tom had a really, really good start. He was electrifying off that start. He pulled away from Rudy. Rudy then came under pressure from Ares, but Ares just couldn't capitalise it. And Rudy, in the end, is now 7 tenths clear, and it looks like he's got better pace.
Yeah, Rudy's got a little bit better pace than Jent's Aries right now, but if there was some team wars in play, Tom, if he can, maybe backs Rudy's up in the Aries, but obviously Tom's fighting his own race here, so not going to see that happen for the most part. But yeah, we do got Daniel in the back here as well. He's kind of the back of Steph here. We'll see if a move can be made here. Yep, we also got Lynx and Geronjo as well, so they're battling last lap, they're battling again. So we'll see what happens here. Daniel going to make a move on the inside of Steph here, going to try to hang it on the inside. He'll make it successfully. And then we got Geronjo not going to make a move on Lynx. So put the Alfa Romeo up a spot, Steph down one. And now with DRS activated this time by, Rudy sets the fast lap of the race, but we may see a little bit more moves happening in that top pack.
Daniel running over the white line there slightly. That wasn't coming into the pit lane like in real life. Lynx all diving it down the inside of Stefan towards turn number 1. McLaren and the Aston Martin now go side by side in the papaya coloured car. I think it's just going to be forced out of room. Really like the Ocon incident nearly in Alonso, of course, in real life. And still Steph, oh, that was a bit forceful coming across there on Lynx. Don't think Lynx was entitled to try and get that move done, but Steph putting the elbows out and saying to Lynx, you know what, if you want to try and get through the hard way, because I'm literally not bothered about what you're going to do in behind. And it looks like Steph just hasn't got the pace, he hasn't got the run, certainly. And now Link's on the outside line in towards turn 13. Bold and brave and brilliant. Steph forced it down the inside line, a bit forceful again from Steph, just over-aggressive, I think, in terms of the defending, but he remains in P10. Link's there in 11th, One Rocco there in 12th. They're pulling away from EdTC in behind. It's the main battle, I think, out on track, as Daniel has escaped up the road by a second. Tom though leads the way. Rudy in second, Ares in third, and I think we're possibly going to get a move between Carlsbury and Shender, as One Rocco was through on Links, but I think Carlsbury and Shender possibly going to be the next move. He comes out of 24, coming out through the double left, or the triple left of 25, 26 and 27, and here comes the back of the Haas. On the back of the Ferrari, he pulls the outside line, and Shender pulls the Leclerc move in towards 27. Carlsbury through these into 6th, but Shender is going to pick up the DRS, and in fact they all pick up DRS because they're still within that DRS chain, as Rudy is going to attack for the lead on the back of Tom, pulls to the inside line, gets the move done, and Rudy is through, he's into the lead of the race.
Yeah, I was waiting there to give you a second there. I was going to point out that move, and I was going to point out that move, but yeah, you are lead, so you got more priority there. No harm, no foul. You did a good call there. But anyway, we got Rudy, Tom, Aries there, and it looks like everyone's getting a little bit spaced out. But yeah, Rudy was getting a good X-off line there, and I was kind of seeing like there'd be a move happening there, and he'll successfully get it done. We do have Links coming into the pits here a bit early on lap 4 here. Don't know if it was for a front wing change or not. I'll check that in a second. Yeah, it was a front wing. Okay, correct. Anyway, we do got Schreider getting a penalty as well there. He's going to be the second person to join the noise. So Smalley goes fast lap the race, but remember, that is on a fresh set of soft tires, so bit of a no-brainer there at the very least. But yeah, as they are kind of training up here, Tom now going to have to answer back to Rudy, and Jensen kind of right now, again, maybe laying back here, biding his time, knowing he doesn't have to force the issue. Still P5 for the most part here. You think he gained a little bit more spots, but right now, again, just kind of maybe waiting a spot out here, playing his music, knowing that he doesn't have to force the issue because he doesn't want to end up in the wall and end up throwing away 25, 30, 18 points rather than getting nothing.
Yeah, Ares is on the back of Tom, and he looks quite close in towards 27. We should see Jensen as well through, just in the background, on the back of Floody. We'll take this from the back camera angle on board with Ares. They catch up very quickly. Jensen falls it down the inside line. That's a lovely move by Jensen. Down the inside line, we thought it was deep, it wasn't. Tom, though, is now going to try and get Rudy in towards turn number 1. Rudy pulls to the outside line. Tom on the inside line. Is he entitled to go for the move? Yes, he will. Tom down the inside line, gets the move done. Shender has sped into the pit lane. Not sure, of course, of that glitch, as Ares, I think, made a little bit of contact with Rudy just into the exit of turn 1 there. Ares there and Jensen 3rd and 4th, but Tom now leads the way. Rudy in 2nd, Ares in 3rd, and to be honest, Fleddy and Carlsbury are more surprised in. He's sticking with the pace very well, the Finn. Not normally up towards the top end of the field. We saw a very good race from him, of course, in China last time out, and then he, of course, span. And Carlsbury there in 6th. He's there on sufferance and on pace.
Yep, he's up on pace here. He's getting on the back of that toe there and is helping him work out here because his teammate for his right away, Zoidema, is out of DRS range. So he's kind of held himself to a locked P6 for the most part right now and just kind of holding the station. Update on MetTC as well. He's currently P10 and he's second fastest in a set of mediums. Geronjo obviously first, but I think Geronjo is kind of falling a little bit like a stone, so we'll see how it holds on station. But we got Tom, Rudy, Aries. We'll see if anyone makes a lunge on this. Actually, not the long straight yet. We got a hairpin coming up first, then the straight. Yep, Jensen looks like he's going to get a good toe. We'll see if he can get a move on Aries. Can the senior team make a move on the junior team? Again, Aries is going to get a little bit of a toe of slipstream off Rudy, so maybe a little bit harder. I think Aries is going to make... Jensen's going to make a move similar to what he did on Lynx, except this time it's going to be around the outside here. Going to go as deep as he wishes. Around the hang it looks like inside's going to favor Aries, though, and since Rudy's there, it's going to block him off. And now they're trying to tell Rudy to get out of the way, to say block one line, block the other one line. Who's going to get the better toe? It looks like it's going to be Aries right now. Aries is going to have the inside for the corner here, and he's going to be a little bit tighter on the brake. Jensen going to try to hang it around the outside. Still on the inside now. They're still side by side here. Geronjo is retired. I think he's crashed. That's a virtual safety car, so Aries is going to hold station.
Yeah, I thought that was actually a retirement into the pit lane there. I think he's crashed coming into the pit wall, possibly into the pit lane. And One Rocker was he's either crashed it out the final corner and then retired coming into the pit lane, and there's front wing damage on the car. I'm trying to see. We've gone ball with Shender. Shender's into the pit lane, and there was nothing into the pits, and the car is now gone.
His car just despawned. Yeah, despawned. I think he crashed and then, maybe he hit the put wall. And
Shender's got no front wing, that's why. As Smalley has picked up a drive-through penalty, I think the VSC, one Rocco retired coming into the pit lane. I think it was for Shender losing his front wing. He had no front wing coming into the pit lane there. He's now down in 16th, right down the back of the field. So I think that's what the VSC was for.
Maybe. I have that case there. You never know with this game. Sometimes it's very weird when it throws it. But we do got, as now Noah Jones gets 3 from off the warnings as well. But again, back up to the top 5. They have not missed a beat here at the very least. We got Fletty, Callsby, and Zoidberg has now caught the back. So top 7 in a train. And then Daniel kind of in a world of his own at the very least. But he's getting caught by the medium runners. As
look at
what happens here. I think Carlsby can make a move. But up the road, though, we got Aries, Rudy, 3 wide. Oh, this will never work. And it somehow does. Aries makes it. Tom pushes Rudy's just a bit wide. Now allow the Alpha Taris to be 1-2. But here comes Jensen.
No
try
way.
to take the inside here. They're going to be 2 abreast each car. And they're going to try to split the middle. That's not going to work. Jensen backs down knowing that was going to end in tears if he held on. Rudy will take the spot, though. So Jensen, I'm not going to end up crashing the wall here. Tom takes first. Rudy second. Aries third. Jensen fourth. But holy, they're fighting like this is the last lap of the race. And we're only on lap 7.
Fleddy, by the way, came into the pit lane and all that as well. Cosby's just being flung out of the dirty air, and now Zoidemer has catched onto the back of this train as well. So what was a 6-car train has now become a 6-car train once again, with Tom leading the way, Rudy in second, Ares in third. I just thought I'd mention there, Ares got such a phenomenal run, coming through the final corner, through 27, he dived it down the inside of both Rudy and Tom, but the gap was there for the 3 wide to happen, and Ares managed to get that move done, but it set him up so poorly on the exit of the final corner as Noah has retired into the pit lane. He's obviously lost a bit of front wing, I think, but Jensen on the back of Ares, as I was saying there, it's almost as if he went for the move too early. He's now in third, and look at it again, he's going to try and set it up on the back of Rudy. I think Rudy, though, more immediately is going to set it up on the back of Tom, and Jensen is going to set it up on the back of Ares. As we run down towards turn 27, I think Rudy's just going to sit in behind here on the back of Tom, but Jensen is side by side with Ares down the inside line into the final corner. Jensen will have the move done, could be 2 for 1, and Rudy on the outside line. It's going to be 3 wide, I think, down the straight with Ares picking the double slipstream, but he's losing a lot of toe in the slipstream, and he's losing a lot of speed as well. As Jensen to the inside line of turn number 1 gets the move done on Rudy. Nice move that by Jensen. Clear crystallised move, I think, there from Jensen. He's finished into second, and this is what racing in Saudi Arabia is all about.
Oh, yeah. This is moments like this is glad sometimes I've hung up the fire suit sometimes because, it's like I would not want to be in some of these packs sometimes just watching this and watching just getting 4 wide, and I'm like, nope, I'm good. That just always ends in tears usually, but these drivers are professionals, and it shows why Jensen is, at the very least, still P2 at the very least, and showing why he's leading the championship. So, yeah, Tom first, Jensen second, Rudy third, Aries fourth. I think they're going to fight again here, but pit stop window is coming, as we did see a couple drivers end up coming in, including Fletty. He came in along with Daniel the next lap, so we may see some of these drivers come in, but we do know that Jensen likes to go long, so who will be the first one in this pack of 6 that maybe go for the undercut and see if it works?
Undercut is very potent around here, but drivers have got to be careful on the tyres. We saw Yona in TTML F2. He came in, same lap as Fleddy. He lost the race on the final lap of the race. Fleddy perhaps could be in the lead. Jensen, by the way, in the lead of the race, flies around the outside of Tom into 27. And look at Rudy as well. Rudy's going to get the outside line in towards turn 27. I don't think he's going to settle up at the final corner, though. He gets a really good exit at the final corner. A little bit slow as Jensen leads the way, and he's coming into the pit. Tom now in second. Ares is also into the pit lane, and the AlphaTauris are going to double stack. Ares is going to lose significant amount of time. Tom leads the way, though. Rudy in second. This is going to be the biggest indicator, though. Fleddy, Fleddy initially, on that set of mediums, he should be ahead of these guys. But later on in the race, Ares and Jensen are going to be significantly quicker. And do you know what? I'm going to totally rebut what I've just said, because I think Fleddy is going to be ahead of Ares, but not ahead of Jensen. And that's exactly going to be the case.
Yeah, so that kind of shows the point here. The undercut is potent, so I think Jensen's obviously going to come out with the lead here, but Fleddy kind of puts a rock in those hands. And kind of just to make a quick correction there, AlphaTauri said not double stack. It was only one coming in, so no double stack happened in that pit stop window. All of them kind of spaced out. So just want to make sure the viewers at home are like, oh, why did Tom not pit? Because Tom pit it next time by.
Jensen was in an AlphaTauri last season, that's why.
Okay. So, yeah, just wanted to kind of point that, correct it for the viewers at home, just in case, maybe even our blind viewers, so they know what's going on, because they only go by the radio call. But anyway, we got Tom first, Rudy second, Carlos B third. Now I'm going to assume a lot of these drivers are going to kind of hit in, and when they do, Metis will inherit the lead of this race. And the next question is, when will they come in? We'll be for a little bit of time, though. But yeah, Tom leads way. And the question is, will Rudy try to make a lunge here and maybe get ahead of him? Going to hang around the outside.
Yes.
Tom now switches back inside. He's got the inside for the corner. Now remember, Tom's pitting. He's going to have to force it quick. But it looks like Tom gets the better exit. And I think
he's in the pits.
Rudy going in. Yeah, both of them coming in this time by. They're both leaning to the left. So he's in, Rudy's in, Carlos B staying out for one more. So Carlos B wants to get that Haas some sponsorship time. And he'll be P1. Oh, Ayres, something up with Ayres.
Yeah, Ayres is a through on Fleddy, ran the outside of turn 27, gets the job done, he's through and he's into 7th. Jensen as well on the back of Black Box. Black Box's course has still not come into the pit lane just yet. Currently in that second out on track in theory, but Jensen gets the move done and he's through and he's into 3rd. So Jensen gets the move done on Black Box, of course, really good mates, I've got to say, in another league. Side by side, actually, Rudy and Ayres are coming out the pit lane, and Rudy, with that overspeed, just about gets ahead coming out the pit lane. So that inside line, out of the pit lane, Rudy is ahead, Tom is ahead, Ayres in behind, not really great, but Jensen now in the lead of the race, and do you know what? He's put Black Box in the way of Rudy and Tom to the outside line and towards turn 13. He's going to try and get this move done around the outside. Black Box, though, is no slouch. He will defend for his life, but Tom manages to put an impossible gap, make it possible, and on the outside line through 14, 15, and then into 16, Tom's got the move done. Brilliant driving there by Tom. He handled that situation so well. Black Box is a very difficult driver to defend, to attack, and Black Box there in 5th. He's holding back Rudy. Oh, and there's a bit of contact actually.
Rudy
I'm not
tried
sure
to go for the hole there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
Rudy
Rudy hit the wall, possibly, and there's a little bit of front wing damage on the car. We'll see, as Ayres is now in the back of this as well. Black Box there in 5th. I think he's going to be outdone by both of them here. Rudy to the outside line, but look at Ayres' speed. Ayres is going to get Rudy possibly in towards turn 27. He gets Black Box at least. He's on the back, then there's a yellow flag, and I think that's Schender that has gone round through turn 13.
Yep, I was just going to say, though, it's like, we've seen it before, we've seen it again. Jensen loves to make moves and put lap cars between him. Oh, yeah, Ayres going to make a move here. Hold that thought for a second as Ayres makes a move on Rudy. So Ayres the 5th, and the question is, does Rudy have some slight, maybe issues from that incident, or maybe his confidence a bit shook? But to go back to my point, we know Jensen loves to put cars in between him and someone else, as we've seen in the past couple rounds, Bahrain, Spain as well, where he puts cars in between them. But we see here that Tom's no slouch. He'll go for the move. He sees it. He'll strike when the iron's hot. And now Tom chasing down Jensen, and I feel like Tom may be something to watch out for at the very least here, but Rudy's not going to go far away along with Ayres, and Carlos B still staying out at the very least, so really trying to go for those fresh tires, even though I worry he may lose touching distance and be between Fleddy and Zoidem about a second and a half back. But again, Carlos B may have a strategy now. Boss Wanted has retired in the pit lane, so no penalty, no safety car at least on the horizon.
Yeah, not this lap at least, but obviously safety cars are still prone around this track. Cosbury leading the way. I think you're right in terms of where he is, as Schender has crashed coming through turn 2, I think. That, I think, might be off track looking at the incident. Schender is off, coming through turn number 2. Steph picks up a penalty. Ayres has just picked up a penalty as well, right on board with him. Fleddy, though, on the back of Black Box. More immediately, I don't think there's going to be a safety car or a VSC, as Fleddy will pull to the outside line. He's got to get the move done. Is Fleddy to the outside line on Black Box. Easy as you like. Tom, though, look at how much time he's gained. In that ERS, he's going to try and now pressurise Jensen. It's exactly the same scenario we had, of course, a couple of weeks ago on a Tuesday night. Ayres is quicker, though, than Tom and Jensen. And Jensen just backs him up in towards turn number 1 there. He goes a little bit too hot in, actually. And Tom, going to try and get the run out of turn 2. Doesn't get the move done, though. Jensen stays in 2nd, Tom there in 3rd. But Tom, just to finish off my point there, he is applying that bit of pressure to the back of Jensen, and it's exactly what happened a couple of weeks ago in a different league I commentated on. Both of them had a really good fight. Both of them ended up side by side across the line.
Oh, so maybe that will be a foreshadow of what we see here soon. But we do got Jensen Tom. I was watching Carlos, but he did come out. He's 2.5 back of where he was before. Is now Fleddy going to make a move on Black Box. Going to try to hang it around the outside here, similar to what Tom did.
He's not.
And
traction?
No, he's going to... Yeah, not a good enough traction. He's not going to be inside. Black Box is going to have to respect the room here. They're almost going to touch there, still side by side. Oh. And Fleddy around. Lost traction there. The car just kind of gave up there. And Black Box will hold again. Clean racing. But, yeah, Fleddy just kind of ran out of traction there. And sadly, that will cost him some time. And now he'll be on the clutches of Daniel here as he'll try to make a move.
Fleddy just comes in the way of Daniel as well. Daniel was going to get that move done on the back of Fleddy. That red light is flashing. Tom, by the way, is attacking Jensen through 27, so he gets the job done into the final corner. So Tom leads the way in the net lead of the race. BTC's there in second in the lead, though. Could this perhaps be a Perez-Verstappen sort of incident in Abu Dhabi? Here comes Jensen, though, on the back of Tom. These two trading positions like they were a couple of weeks ago. Jensen through and he's into the lead of the race, the net lead of the race. Now in second position. Tom there in third, Arrows there in fourth. But MTC, what would you do if you were Jensen? Would you catch up to the back and use your teammate as a bit of a slingshot to try and get ahead and try and put a car between yourself and the driver behind, in this case Tom? Or, if you were mid-TC, would you just back off, let Jensen through and try and hold up both AlphaTauris?
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. If they're in communication, if they're in talks, which you think sometimes they are, it is going to be a point where maybe Jensen decides to say, look, show me some love here. If I catch you, can you maybe give me a little bit of a cushion here? Because we know Tom's aggressive. We know Aries is aggressive. And if you can hold him off just a little bit, because Tom does have one lap pressure tires, it may be a point. I think Carlos is going to move on. Black Box he has. Carlos being the 6, and Black Box at a 7. Now Zoidman going to try to pick up the pieces there. But, yeah, that is an interesting point. If MedTC hangs on and stays out there long enough that the point doesn't happen, it could raise point. Does he play ball with Jensen, or does he just run his own race and say, you know what, there's only one Mercedes here, we're going to outpoint him if you finish ahead of him, so I'm here to run my race, and I don't really care what happens.
Yeah, I think so. I think Tom and Jensen, in the meantime, though, possibly are going to go side by side once again, because look at the speed Tom is carrying. He hasn't even used up any ERS. Tom to the inside line, just with DRS purely. Straight line speed setup definitely on that car, and the AlphaTauri's back there and he's into second. He gets away slightly from Jensen on the run down in towards turn number 1. Is Jensen going to wait behind? I don't think he will. He'll go to the inside line in towards turn number 1, and Jensen retakes the position on top. I think we're going to see this quite often now. But to come back to that incident with Fleddy, for me, that incident with Fleddy and Black Box was entitled to defend that position. Fleddy just got put up on a box basically like Rudy does. Daniel now goes past him for 9th, so Daniel threw him Fleddy's into 9th. And Fleddy, I think that confidence has been knocked, but to be honest, he should have just backed out that move, waited until the straight, probably got him down in towards turn 26. Patience and absolute virtue, and I think, honestly, in that instant, Black Box was entitled to defend. And speaking of Black Box, he's just gone out wide past Zoidema, and Zoidema now is through and he's into 7th. Black Box massively out wide, and now is down to P8 and he's struggling on those tyres. And I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if we see him come into the pit lane, as Steph has just done, to probably retire the car, and he has.
Yep, and now we're down to 12 runners here. Something else has kind of caught my eye and attention. I'm remembering, got to put your mind back about a week and a half ago, where we saw, China, where it was Jensen and Tom fighting at the end, and whoever was on the last straight was behind ended up to make the pass. So, again, maybe Tom taking lessons of what he saw previously, knowing that he may want to be behind Jensen on the last lap. So maybe some game here. Now we got a virtual safety car for our
Smalley, I think.
What? Yeah, Smalley got a 10. So, yep, so it is Smalley that caused that one. So we'll get a bit of a neutralizer here, much to probably Tom's chagrin. McTC could pit here if he wants to try maybe save some time. Or yes, he will. So take advantage of his VSE here and salvage some time here. And I think they'll come out, I want to say, Black Box?
I think he'll come out in 7th. I think he'll come out possibly in where Black Box is in the minute. So I think he'll come out in 8th position. Well, it'll be 7th because Black Box is into the pit lane. So yeah, he'll come out in 7th position. He's got clear road in front of him. There's the Alfa Romeo on the right-hand side of the track. The inside line is well posing. Could be quite close between these guys. But of course, Daniel has to stick to his Delta. McTC doesn't. McTC's out on a set of softs and he's into 7. That has saved his race. That has saved his race, and in the end, coming back to qualifying, he's pulled off an absolute blinder, I think, going on to that fresh to the tyres in 7th. Stewards, of course, will have a look into that. DRS is now enabled, we're back underway. Jensen, though, has got a better restart than Tom, and Tom is just on the back foot there slightly, with Aris there in 3rd. But MTC, on a set of soft compounded tyres, they're only going to get going for, I think, 4 or 5 laps, and then they'll begin to struggle in terms of the pace. If McTC can hook these tyres online now, he's going to be catching Zoidema, he's going to be catching Cosby, he's going to be catching Rudy, but then from that point onwards, it's very difficult.
Yeah, he's got to make up 11 seconds to Jensen right now, so unless Jensen backs him down, which he wouldn't do, it's highly unlikely he'll get back to the leaders, but maybe, I mean, think he was going to qualify around 5th or 6th, so it does raise the question if he didn't have that mistake or brain fart moment or whatever on the pit lane. He'd probably be up there fighting in that pack. So we do see Fletty and Daniel fighting. Fletty will get around Daniel. As, yeah, a bit of a weird battle there at the very least.
Yeah, Daniel let him through. I'm not sure if he's picked up any front wing damage, actually, Daniel. He looked very slow out of 22 and 23. I'll see if he's coming into pit lane. It might be very... it might be visible just to the driver rather than to the naked eye of the spectate cam. So that's why I'm thinking he's let him through. Is he coming into the pit lane here? He is not. I think he's just purely getting the DRS. It's a tactical move then by Daniel. Not really sure what the point was in that, because he's miles behind coming down the straight. Fleddy down through into P8. Daniel in P9, he's just gone too hot in towards turn number 1. And Daniel's tyres, possibly beginning to get going. He's in the wall! Daniel is in the wall, coming out turn number 2. He's just purely hot up the rears slightly, and he's in the wall, and I would not be surprised if that's another VSC out on track. But Daniel into the wall, coming out of turn number 2. He's lost his front wing entirely. The cars have got back going, and to be honest, the track is clear now. Behind Daniel, Smalley's a minute behind, and Daniel there in 11th. It's just purely, the rear tyres got overheated, I think, on that exit of turn 18, where he lost the place to Fleddy. Daniel now down in 11th, and that's his race, I think, run.
Yeah, that's a shame, because Daniel, I don't know, I was going to say Daniel maybe trying to save points, maybe hang behind Fleddy, because thinking he knows he's not going to catch MedTC, he's battling for 8th, probably at the max, so he's like, let me just kind of hold back, save my resources, and go for the pass at the end, but very odd call there at the very least. But MedTC's already came. Yep, Carl's making a move on Rudy here. Carlsby got fresh tires by 2 laps, hanging on the outside, and he'll make the pass happen. And back to the MedTC update, he's gained 2.5 on the leaders. Is something just caught your eye?
Tom's going side by side with Jensen, immediately going down towards turn number 1. Tom leads the way now, Jensen in 2nd, Harris in 3rd, and I think Rudy is going to try and get the move done back on Carlsby, just waiting behind though, down towards turn number 1. Carlsby there in 4th. But what I laughed about there is Carlsby just flicked on the brakes slightly, then went accelerator, then went brakes, and his DRS flap was flapping all over the place there. That was quite funny. Carlsby in 4th, Rudy in 5th, Zordom in 6th, MedTC in 7th. This is where it gets tricky now for MedTC. He's probably going to get the move done Zordom into 13, you would imagine. Much fresher soft compounded tyres compared to the mediums. This is where he's going to really hook up on his lap, and coming out of turn 13 I can already say it's move done, because he will pull to the outside line and Zornman's not going to even put up a fight. MedTC to the outside line, easy as you like, absolutely walters around the outside, and now next up is Rudy, and he'll probably get him, I think, next lap around.
Yeah, probably next lap around, and then he's got Carlsby a 2nd behind, and then remember, Aries is currently in 3rd. He's got a 3-second time penalty to his name. I will confirm that it's 3. It is 3. So he only has to get within 3 seconds of him in order to get that last step of the podium. So it's not impossible, but that soft fault will be kind of huge. So something to keep an eye on. If Metzi's overcooking his tires right now to catch back up, it may be sinking a ship, as now Smalley goes fast lap the race, but I feel like Metzi may end up putting a lap bit faster than the Alfa Romeo driver, but we'll find out 1 lap later, as we do see Rudy getting good toe off off Carlsby, but doubtful pass lap, and no, he'll not. He'll suck back in line. As we do got 3 for Daniel, and I think Jensen could make a move on Tom here. Yes, he is on the inside, and he'll successfully make it happen. So Jensen the 1st, Tom the 2nd. Aries kind of waiting in the wings here.
Here's Rudy.
He's got Rudy up in the back there. Rudy and Carlsby. Rudy will make the pass, but goes a little deep, not deep enough though. Rudy will hold Carlsby 5th. But yeah, Aries kind of waiting in the wings there, but with that 3-second time penalty, he can't really be winging in the wings. So I don't know what Aries is thinking, or maybe he's just like, I'll stay behind and automatically guarantee a 3rd place and a podium instead of fighting and end up maybe towing Rudy closer.
Yeah, well, that 3-second penalty, obviously, if he wants to put it in, he can. Whether the stewards will look at it is a different thing. Cosby on the back of Rudy in towards turn 13, not going to risk that for a chocolate biscuit down the inside line. But MedTC is now on the back of this queue. So what I said a lap ago might just come true now, because he's on the back, he's got 30% ERS. Cosby's got more ERS, but he's got a roadblock basically in front of him. And look at MedTC's tyres, he's beginning to get into contention. I would not be surprised if MedTC, he's not using any ERS. He should, I think, if he wanted to get the move done. This will be, I think, on the run down towards turn number 1. So we should see MedTC get the move done on both Carlsbury and Rudy. And if I call this to perfection, I probably get owed £500,000 and possibly 250 quid on you bringing frames. Cosbury, though, to the inside line. Rudy on the outside line, and Cosbury's through and he's into fourth. But this is where MTC, if he gets a really good run at the final corner, he's going to get both of them for chips, I think. Cosbury slightly sideways at the final corner. Tom takes Jensen for the race lead. And now MTC on the back of Rudy, on the back of Cosbury. There goes Rudy to the inside line. Is MTC going to think about risking it down the inside of both of them? He will! No. He dives it down the inside line. It could end an absolute tears. It's 3 wide, and MTC is going to get the outside line. And there's near Skittles coming through turn number 2. How on earth they've got away with that is unreal. Rudy cut the corner. Cosbury or Rudy, one of the two, cut the corner and all
was
that.
On the inside. He cut.
And one of them cut the corner. But I think
it was so weird.
Yeah, it's not going to matter, to be honest, because MTC, I think, is going to get this moved on Rudy in towards turn 13. Has he got the straight line speed, though? Is he going to risk it down the inside line? Oh, he absolutely sends it down the inside line. What a move that is on the brakes. Really saw him coming. And MTC through and he's into fifth. Had to wait a little bit longer than what I said, but that was still intense.
Yeah. I'll give you a yen for your troubles. You get 1 yen for your troubles there. It's not going to be your 250 pounds, but it's something at the very end. But Medsey 5th, Carlsby 4th. Yeah, Medsey almost lost in the Skittles moment as well. He went wide, back and got a little squirrely, but he held it. So Medsey 5th, and just shows sometimes you can be a little aggressive as long as you can hold line. But it's going to allow Carlsby to get a second clear. So Carlsby kind of smiling right now because it allowed Rudy some distance. So Carlsby and Rudy's got a big gap now. MTC's going to have to catch him down. Rudy going to try to hit back on MTC. I wonder if his tires are maybe starting to hit. That was like the last hurrah of those soft tires. And I think Tom and Jensen about to switch again, as now Jensen is going to make the move on Tom. So put Jensen back to first, Tom down to 7th with 6 to go here. And yeah, I think MTC's tires maybe have finally kind of hit cliff. And I think as high as he'll go is 5th.
Well, Rudy is just sitting and waiting behind for now. It's smart from Rudy, but then again, I'm thinking he's going to be on relatively worn tyres compared to MTC's tyres. They're going to be quite comparative, I think, in terms of their tyre wear right to the end of the race. And MTC in 5th. Softs are not going away. He's pulling away from Rudy through the first sector, and he's now 8 tenths clear, and out of the slipstream range of Rudy. So MTC is focusing more ahead of Carlsbury. He's got no chance of winning this race unless it's a safety car. He's there in 5th position. He probably will get 4th of Carlsbury, and then, as I said earlier on, it's going to get very, very difficult from here on in. In the meantime, though, this battle for the lead is fascinating. Jensen and Tom are trading positions like for like, lap, mano a mano, basically, and Aris is just sitting waiting behind. And I can only think Aris is sitting and waiting behind, thinking Jensen and Tom are to pick up a 3-second penalty, and that is why Aris is so close. He's sitting in behind. He's got 82% of ERS coming through turn 27, as now Tom will pull to the outside line on the back of Jensen, but might be a gentleman's agreement. You go first, and Tom is through, and he's into the lead of the race. Around the outside of 27, Jensen, though, will have the run, surely in towards turn number 1, and do you know what? I think for the 10th time tonight, they're probably going to get the move done in towards turn number 1, and here comes Jensen on the outside line, easy as I like. Jensen and Tom just trading positions, but as I said in the formation lap, whoever is the guy behind going on to the final lap of the race tends to have the advantage. So if you're the guy behind, as MTC is going to get the move done on Carlsbury, diving it from a mile back in towards turn 1. Nice move there by MTC. He's through and he's into 4th, but Jensen leading the way. Whoever is the driver behind going on to the final lap of the race will probably win this race, and I think from this point onwards, with only 4.5 laps to go, it's going to get quite tactical, and I think Tom will be more inclined to holding on in the back, as Carlsbury's just picked up a 3-second penalty.
I was going to say, it reminds me of Shades of China again. I did take a look at the incidents while you were talking there, and Jensen has 1 warning to his name, Tom has 2. So if Tom kind of gets a little too sneakily and tries to get a better advantage, he may end up getting 3. So Tom is a bit of a pickle here, because Tom has 1 extra warning than Jensen. So and Tom doesn't obviously know how many warnings Jensen has, and vice versa. So it's a situation where it's kind of a game of chicken and a game of bluff. Tom has to push as hard as he dares, but if he pushes too hard, he may end up throwing away any chance of winning this victory. And yeah, it's a game of poker basically. So you have like Smalley crashing out.
That might be safety car.
We have 4 laps to go. As Tom makes pass to the lead, will they call it before the thing happens?
Yeah.
No call. I think we're getting nothing. As
off track.
Tom takes first, Jensen second, Aries third. You are correct. It is off track. As Jensen now going to try to answer back, he just shows that he could be, if that was the last lap of the race, Tom would have won, but Jensen got a toe, so the line's a little bit farther down. things would be very chaotic. But with 4 to go here, Aries gets a good toe, almost runs to the back of his teammate. MetTC gets him ahead of Carlsby. MetTC's got 4th locked because of the 3 seconds. Let's Met get something. So, yeah, right now, if you're an Aries fan, you're hoping that Tom and Jensen either collide or get 3 apiece. And, yeah, things will definitely be something to watch out for here with 4 to go here in Saudi Arabia.
This is unbelievable. I've never seen such a fascinating race like it. Jensen and Tom are just trading positions. They did this in FRL. They did this in the league I commentated on. They constantly traded positions, and they ended up both losing the race to Montana. Montana took the win there. Jensen just clipped the wall, I think, coming out of 13. Just knocked him off centre slightly. Didn't pick up any front wing damage or anything. It was just a slight knock with the wall. And again with the rear tyre, just hits the wall slightly. And Jensen is taking not too much liberties, I've got to say, in terms of his tyres or in terms of his damage potential. But he is now beginning to push a little bit harder. He's pulling away from Tom, and Tom now is under pressure from Aries, because Aries is now going to fly to the outside and towards 25 and 26, but I think he's more inclined to wait in behind, pick up the slipstream from the Brit in front, and the Brit closes up into the final corner on the back of the other Brit, and it's Jensen that leads the way. Tom in second, Aries in third. This is a fascinating race between the front 3. Tom, though, will pull to the inside line once again for about the 20th overtake between these guys tonight. Tom takes the lead. Jensen now in second, and now 3 laps to go. Pepsi, if you were in this situation, what would you do? Jensen now in behind Tom. Would you just sit and wait behind for the final lap and play it tactical?
I'd rather be behind. I think Jensen, we saw that in China last week. We see it now. You want to be behind, and you want to be in the safe spot. So I think Jensen right now, you want to play tactical. You could switch back, and then, but if you end up holding back and you make a mistake or lose a little bit of touch distance, or if, let's say, Aries, playing good soldier, ends up hounding the back of Jensen, you may end up being in a bad situation because Jensen doesn't have his rear gunner here. Tom does. So Aries could maybe hound Jensen and maybe keep him just so he can't make that pass happen. So I want to be in second, but I'd rather, if I was Tom, I'd want to be in second. If I'm Jensen, I think I may want to be in first because you never know. If a mistake happens, things could change. And if you put the pressure on, so I think depending on who I am, if I'm Jensen, I want to be in first. If I'm Tom, I want to be in second because Aries is kind of the wild card here.
Oh, there's a bit of front wing damage actually coming through the final couple of corners there. Yeah, Daniel, I think, hitting the wall out of 22, 23, that section of the track. Jensen again on the back of Tom. Aries, though, I think is going to be the real I was gonna swear
wild
there.
Card.
Aries on the real wild card, I think. Yeah, he's in third. He could try and get the move done towards turn 1, but Jensen is now, I think, going to take the lead of the race once again. And on to the penultimate lap of the race. This is absolutely fascinating. Will Tom be sufficed to go for this move now on Jensen into the first corner of the race, onto the final lap of the race, as Carlsby dives it on the inside line. Lovely
very
move.
Aggressive.
And MetTC actually, Carlsby offline, and MetTC's back through. MetTC sloops back underneath, and he's through and he's into 4th. Carlsby there in 5th, and Carlsby, I think, his tyres just gave up there through turn number 1. He went too far deep into the corner, and that's why MetTC's now through and he's into 4th once again. But MetTC, he's literally hit a roadblock, and he's going nowhere there in 4th.
Yeah, he's going nowhere in 4th. He won't go any higher. With Carlsby's time penalty, he's goes 4th. And if Rudy or Zoid would get around Carlsby, it could be chaos. But I think he's kind of okay at the very least, bearing an accident. But we're coming through sector 2 right now. Again, Aries is the wild card. Aries can maybe control fate here, but he's not getting good enough toe to make anything happen. So I think Aries is content in 3rd. So the question is, what will Tom do? Because if Tom doesn't attack this lap, but makes a mistake, he ends up throwing it away. No attack, no chance. Do you attack when you have the opportunity, or is it smart to play tactical? You have to bet on yourself, and what do you think you'll do here? As we're going down the long straight here, Tom, I think he's going to go for it. I think he wants to be leading, and he wants to control the line here, and he'll take it.
No.
So Tom's going to lead the final lap. Jensen second, Aries third. But question is, can Aries play a pickle?
Jensen's going to get the move done in towards turn 1. He's now going to put Tom behind him, and this is exactly what I thought would happen. Aries, though, could be the real shock in the block as he now comes to the inside line, and Tom is going to be behind him, and Tom actually goes to the outside line of Jensen, nearly in towards turn number 1. My mic is getting caught up slightly. Jensen leads the way. Tom in second. MetTC and Carlsby side by side. Rudy and Zoidimer. Zoidimer centered around the outside of Rudy. Doesn't get the move done through 1. But now, Jensen and Tom, final lap of the race. Tom is just going to sit and wait in behind. No 3-second penalty, I don't think, will come up here. Jensen is now The hunter becoming the hunted. Tom was the hunter becoming the hunted, and now with the role reversal, Tom is going to win this race, I think. If it comes side by side at the final corner, who knows who's going to win this race? Jensen leads the way, Tom in second, Harris in third. We've got half a lap to go here in Jeddah. We come through the final 10 corners now with just 2.5 kilometers of the track to go. Jensen leading the way. Harris just made a slight mistake there, might be out of it. It's now Tom and Jensen are going to go to war here in Saudi Arabia with the final couple of corners through the final sector to come now. Jensen leading the way. Tom, though, is he going to risk this move in towards turn 27? If I can get my words out, that'd be unbelievable. Tom on the back of Jensen. He's going to go for the move. He's got a really good toe on the back of Jensen. Pulls to the outside line. Jensen, though, is going to nearly force him off into the wall through the final corner. Tom around the outside line. Jensen on the inside line. It's going to be a photo finish between them both. Who is going to get the win? Tom to the line. Jensen might get him. Jensen's going to get him. Oh, Jensen! I don't think he did. I don't think he did. I think Tom has actually won. Tom, I think, was just a millimetre ahead of Jensen across the line. And that is the closest finish I've ever seen in Saudi Arabia. Jensen, according to the timings, has taken it. I think it's Tom that has taken it by 300ths of a second.
I don't know how we rule. So we don't have. It's not like iRacing or something where we got photo cameras. We can back it down. We need to go to the booth. Get the headset. Someone needs to answer these questions. As Jensen, whoever will argue it, Jensen or Tom wins. Aries will come home in third regardless. Metzi fourth, Zoidema fifth. I think Carlos' time play knocks him down. So Metzi fourth, Zoidema fifth gets a move on Rudy. Rudy sixth, Carlos seventh. Fletty 8th, Black Box 9th, Lynx will come home in 10th, and Daniel will come home in 11th, but holy, I call the photo finish in Texas in iRacing about a couple weeks ago in IndyCar. Check my Twitter for that. But here, yeah, that was even closer. That was chaotic. They were on and off every lap here, and eventually it looked like Tom had it. Jensen just got the better toe, so it was better to be in first than second at the very least, according to F1's timing and scoring. But, yeah. Hats off to both of you, though.
Metzi apparently gets Driver of the Day awarded by the in-game fans. Surely both of these share Driver of the Day awarded by the in-game fans. That was an unbelievable fight. We saw it coming, literally from when they started battling. This would develop up into the final lap of the race, and that's exactly what has happened between them both. It is literally a carbon copy of what I saw a couple of weeks ago between these two. It is Jensen on the top step of the podium. I will, however, say Tom is on the top step of the podium. I think, honestly, it came down to half a front wheel's length between them both. And that, to me, is about 100th of a second. That is Formula 1 at its best. That is the closest finish in TTML F1 history, and possibly in TTML history as well. Unbelievable stuff. I think Tom has won. We'll have to go back on the replay for that. It's going to be so difficult to call it. It could well be a photo finish, but from my camera angle that I had, I was right on board with Jensen coming out the final corner. I think Tom has actually just held on.
I know there's a way you can save highlight reels at the end. Maybe someone will have to save theirs and share theirs in. Again, it kind of sucks we're on a PC because we could maybe clip the replay, but with the PlayStation, we're limited with our details. But we had to talk to you regardless.
I've just seen the photo in Discord. Discord. Tom, I think, has won by 8,000th of a second. Looking at that camera angle that he's just had, Tom has won it by literally a millimetre. Literally a millimetre. That is absolutely unbelievable. The closest finish I've ever witnessed in commentary. And Tom, I believe, has taken the win, judging by that footage, I think. So we'll move on, of course. The top three are now in the party, so we'll have to delve down into all of this.
I'm not in the F1 chat. Oh, I can't even see this. This is manure.
I'll send it to you on Discord. I need to
see this.
I'll save you the trouble. Don't worry about that at all. But we can speak, of course, to the man who I think has won the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It is Shazoo Tom. And Tom, in your career as a league racer, have you ever had a closer finish than that?
No, I haven't. Definitely not. It's rather annoying that the game doesn't capture it because of the timing glitch. But yeah, I was mad. I was shaking across the line. I was millimeters in it.
Oh, you were shaking across the line. I think we needed lost our marbles, to be honest, coming across the line as well. We had the camera angle. I had the camera angle coming out the final corner. On board with Jensen. He got such a good run out the final corner. and that, as Pepsi, I think, has just witnessed what I've just sent
I just
into
saw
him.
it. That is close.
That is the closest finish in TTML history, we can guarantee it. But, Tom, talk us through that race, because obviously that battle between Jensen, it was a bit like the FRL race a couple of weeks ago between you both. Chopping and changing positions very constantly. Nobody wanted to give an inch going on to the final lap of the race. In the end, you led going in towards 27. Jensen on the outside line. That must have been so intense.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd be as hard. Obviously, we both must have had like a full battery at the end, so it was dead close into the last corner. But usually, it's much easier to get past with the DRS. But he must have got a good run, and we ended side by side into the last corner. And I think the DRS around the last corner, because the detection points like just after it, as I was already ahead, he got the DRS, which allowed him to come back at me towards the line. And had the line been any earlier then, and later, he probably would have got the win.
If that was literally 10 yards later, if this race was 10 yards later and the start-finish time was 10 yards down the road, you would have lost that race. It's as simple as that. But that, honestly, as I say, the closest finish I've ever commentated on, I think. Closest finish that you've probably ever commentated on, Pepsi. Pepsi, have you got any questions for Tom?
Yeah, I would agree. Again, so weird. I've come with 2 photo finishes in back-to-back weeks, but very weird moment indeed. But I guess my question with Tom is that we just come off a break, and it looks like you found some good form here. So what is your mission statement for this second half of the season? What are you planning on doing, I guess, for the second half of the season? Do you think you can keep this form going?
Well, I think me and Jensen will be fighting all the way to the end. I'm a bit far behind in the championship, but I think drivers like Rudy will probably be more in the fight than they were today, because I don't know what happened to him. He was in the train for the first stint, he wasn't in the train for the second stint, and then there's also Aries who had a good place today, and my aim was obviously going to be to win every race, but I know it's going to be much harder than what it sounds, obviously. I'm with Jensen, obviously being rapid everywhere. I'm just gonna hope to give him a challenge every week. Maybe not win every week, but give him something to think about.
The kind of quote what happened last season with me and James, it feels like it's a kiss situation with Jonah and the other one from AlphaTauri. I'm slipping on his name right now, but they were fighting and we had a late charge come in, so this could be easily a good battle here. But James, back to you. Any other questions?
Final question from me, I think, is just obviously focusing on next week's race. I have to get up the calendar just to confirm. It is Belgium, of course, next week. Sprint qualifying there along with the feature race. How do you think you're going to get on?
Austria.
And is it going to be as close as finish as what we've just witnessed there?
I'm not too sure. I think sprint races are always a bit mental. Hopefully I can get a good result so that, like, because obviously...
I mean, the last sprint race, sorry to cut you off, the last sprint race, you ended up winning that race, so...
Yeah,
mental, but you did have... You're 1 for 1.
Yeah. I'm hoping, like... It's quite a tough one, because one-shot qualifyings are always... It is a one-shot qualifying, yeah.
Yep.
You could so easily invalidate, especially at Belgium. If it's at Belgium or even Austria, I'm not sure which track it is, but... Yeah, if you invalidate, that could be like your whole race over, starting from like 15th or something. But yeah, it could go the other way around, and you could get some damage in the first race and then be able to come back in the second race. But yeah, still gonna try and have the pace to just win without any incidents, but it's always a bit crazy.
Yeah, crazy indeed, and I think if anything tops that race this season, we'll probably just be gonna give it race of the season, just period, I think, after that. Fantastic win from you, Tom, though. Go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Very welcome indeed, and we'll now move on to the man who was unfortunately on the receiving end of the closest finish in TTML history. It was Jensen, finishing in P2, and Jensen, it must be heartbreaking, obviously, not getting that run to the line. Obviously, the timings thought like you had it by 600ths of a second. That was completely wrong, I think. A fantastic race, though, between you and Tom. Talk us through it, because that battle was just absolutely insane.
Yeah, thank you. I'm pretty happy with P2 still, because I think the whole like last stint I was getting like shouted at by my brother to help him with a game or something. which got me like a little bit lost of focus, but I managed to keep it going. And in the end, a bit unlucky at the end. I didn't have much energy, since I probably was using a bit too much to be safe against Ares, but I think, I mean, in the end, I came out just 8,000 short, and I think I understeered the final corner anyway, so that probably kept me in it a little bit more, but still P2, not too bad. It was a fun scrap at the end, so it's not much negative to take away from that.
Yeah, definitely so. Obviously, in terms of the championship as well, you extend that championship lead even further, I think, going obviously into next week in Belgium. Talk us through that virtual safety car period, though, because we saw MedTC coming in front of you. We were expecting, actually, MedTC to play the Perez role against, obviously, Hamilton and Abu Dhabi last season. We were thinking it was going to be a bit like that. Then that VSC come out. Could you have done, though, with MedTC being in front of you and that VSC not coming out?
I say it again, sorry, I didn't get that.
I speak too quick, that's the reason. Yeah, MedTC obviously came into the pit lane ahead of you in that VSC period. Do you feel, if that VSC didn't happen, that he would have helped you along and then try and put a car between you and Tom, just to try and just bridge that gap out a little bit further?
I don't think he defends so much, he just goes along his own. I think he goes along his own race, really, so I don't think he would have held any of us up, to be honest. I think he would have not made it as hard. But,
ooh, some new team orders.
Well, he wasn't in the party. I was in the party with Tom, so even if that was possible, I can order that. So, yeah, I mean, at least it kept the race going for us, other than like splitting us away. Even though I could have got the win, but yeah, I mean, in the end, put on a good show at the line.
Yeah, really good show indeed, and honestly, as I've just put out on Twitter there, that is the closest battle I think I've ever commentated on in any league in my 5 or 6 year that I've done commentary on F1 games. It has been such a privilege, I think, and it just comes to show the talent that both you and Tom have, giving each other so much respect. We could have easily seen, in a different scenario, somebody be totally belligerent, forcing the move down the inside line, putting you in the wall. You're not like that. Two really class drivers, and we are privileged to have you both, of course, in TTML this season. Pepsi, I'm going to come across... Go on.
It's like me and Kizizzle in FRL.
Yeah.
Well, actually exactly like that. Yeah.
That was 300th of a second. That was 300th of a second that day. This is 8,000th of a second. There's no comparison between you and Kizizzle in FRL.
But we kept like completely alongside all the way through the corner.
Yeah.
I slotted in behind out of the exit, but I mean, either way, I love Jeddah for that. Like the close endings and that, it throws something in it. Yeah.
I think what we can say with confidence is Shazoo breathed them differently, I think, in terms of the driving. Absolutely brilliant. Pepsi, I'm going to come across to you. Are there any questions?
I guess I'll throw the same question I did for Tom to you. And the same question is, second half of the season starts now. How do you feel going to the second half of the season? Do you feel some confidence? Do you feel like you can keep your form going? Or think maybe peril ahead?
Well, I know I'm probably going to be missing next week's race, because I got an event going on out there. I think James will probably know what it's about. But yeah, other than that, going from the rest of the season, from Australia onwards, I think, yeah, feeling confident, I guess. Tom will probably catch up in Spa, so it'll bring the championship close. And we can have a little fight for the rest of the season.
Yeah, going to be really interesting.
James, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just in a world of my own. I'm just seeing the comments that are going to be flooding through on the Discord about the picture I've just put in.
Someone's got to add me to the F1 chat. I want to see these too.
No, it's in the general chat. It's in the general chat. Everyone can see that.
Good,
yeah.
Good.
But obviously,
James, any other questions?
Nothing from me. Obviously, you're missing next week in Belgium. What's the event you're doing, by the way? Because I haven't ever heard about an event next week. Unless... Has he gone?
Jensen. Yeah, no, Jensen's here. I guess he's being selective.
What's it? It's between the FRL or some of the FRL community, for someone who we lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
For NSX Mads, of course, we paid tribute, of course, I think a few weeks ago when obviously we found out about his passing. That's going to be a brilliant event, I think, to obviously get involved in. I don't think I'm going to be on for commentary for that. It depends. I might be available for the first couple of races for that, but as we've got you here, of course, Jensen, Mads obviously really good driver, really well known, I think, in the community, especially in the Scandinavian leagues as well. And honestly, if you want to tune in for that event, I'm sure it's going to be put out there very soon in terms of the link and everything. Please go along. It is honestly such a good event to be put on, and I think it really pays tribute to a man who was much sorely missed.
Indeed.
And I think on that note, I think that concludes my interview here tonight with you, Jensen. Go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, and of course, cheers for commentary as always.
Very welcome indeed, and I'm sure you're going to have fun watching that battle back on Twitch later on, and on YouTube, of course, which will be getting uploaded tomorrow. Of course, we can now speak to the man in P3, and that was, of course, Ares, and Ares... Brilliant race from your perspective. You sat in behind, I said in commentary, you sat in behind waiting for 3-second penalty to happen. It didn't, but then you got to witness that battle going into the final corner. Talk us through it.
Yeah, as I said, I tried to keep up with the leaders. Didn't really think I had pace to catch up with them, but seems like I did. And yeah, actually just sat behind them and waited for something to happen, or waited for them to get a 3-second time penalty as I did, unluckily. And yeah, but unfortunately for me, nothing between both of them happened. But yeah, actually pretty surprised and pretty happy with P3 in that race.
Yeah, P3 in that race, obviously that 3-second penalty holding you back slightly, but your performance, I think that's your first podium of the season, if I'm not mistaken as well, so that must fill you up with a lot of confidence going forward.
Yeah, definitely. In the first couple of races I had a bit of bad luck. Maybe I had some decent pace, but I couldn't show it, and yeah, maybe that's gonna change in the upcoming races.
It might change in the upcoming races, and obviously with Jensen not obviously attending next week in terms of the FRL event, of course, that's going on. It obviously brings possibly new kids on the block, I think, next week, possibly in terms of the podium. And hopefully you're going to be there or thereabouts. I think, again, if you show the pace like you did tonight, you should be well up there. I'm certain of that. Pepsi, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
I guess I'll keep asking the same question again I said the last two. Same to you. Second half of the season starts now. How do you feel going the second half of the season? Do you think you got the do you think you'll do well, or do you think there's maybe some faults ahead?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that I could battle in the midfield, or maybe as well as tonight in the top leading group. But we're gonna see in the upcoming races, so pretty keen to show my pace. Yep.
You know, I kind of wish one driver, if I asked him that question, came and said, you know what, I think the rest of the season is going to be a bit of a stinker. That's a shame. But anyway, good you have that confidence in yourself, though. But James, I guess you have any other questions you want to ask?
Belgium next week, obviously, Ares. Sprint qualifying and the feature race. How do you think you could get on around there?
I mean, I like Belgium, but as Tom already said, it's pretty easy to invalid your lap, and pretty easy to get a 3-second penalty. Yeah.
I think his internet might be going there slightly, if I'm not mistaken.
Or maybe he's a bit tired. It's been a long day, especially after watching that race. I think we're all a little bit tired, so I think he was saying invalidations and it's a track to watch out for. So I think he's worried about the challenge, but I think he knows what it brings.
Yeah, I think we've got Ares back, if I'm not mistaken. Was that what you were going to say there, Ares?
Yeah, basically the stuff you already said. Maybe I lagged a bit out. Yeah, pretty easy to get a time penalty and pretty easy to invalid your lap. But I'm confident that I have the pace to fight in front. Yep.
Yeah, should be really good to see. Obviously, Jensen not attending next week. The championship is there to be had, possibly going into next week as well. Go and enjoy your evening, though, Ares.
Thanks. You too, mate.
You are very welcome indeed, and that rounds us off very nicely for the interviews here tonight. Big thank you to Jensen, to Tom, and to Ares for joining us in the interviews. It is absolutely much appreciated. And I think after that race, I think we all need to lie down after that one. That was absolutely unbelievable. Pepsi, I know I'm going to have to ask this question to you. Probably the most difficult one of the season as well. Who on earth is your driver of the day?
I feel sorry for Storm. Every week it seems like we have differing opinions on this, and he has to put in two different names, and I think it's going to not change this week, because if I go one, you're probably going to go the other. So I'll give it to the winner. I'm going to give it to Tom, but you could easily say Jensen, and that would not be a wrong answer. So I think Tom gets my edge for winning, but I feel like you'll go Jensen.
No, I'll go Tom. I think Tom drove... Personally, I think Tom drove a better final lap of the race, and that is why I think he gets driver of the day. That final corner, I think, swung at his way rather than Jensen's way, but still have to give an honourable mention to Jensen. As I said on Twitter there, phenomenal battle between two phenomenal drivers, and I think that is what TTML has to look forward to, obviously, going forward this season, and hopefully for many seasons to come as well. And that rounds us off very nicely, of course, for TTML tonight. We are, of course, back live on Wednesday night on Twitch, on the EML Twitch channel. It is going to be Premier and League 1 going to be on Twitch, so that is League 1 and League 2, 7 PM UK time, 8:30 PM UK time, of course, for Premier. And as I repeat, Aidan Carter and Luke Etheridge are going to be taking you through the action on Twitch. YouTube, do not worry if you're a League 2 fan for EML. That is going to be covered by Graham Chappell and Storm, and they're going to be taking you through on YouTube on the League Racing TV channel. And to myself and Michael Edwards are going to be taking you through the action, of course, on Wednesday for Premier. Hopefully, going to be really good races. And to remind you of where we are racing, actually, in EML, give me a second. We are racing in Italy, in Imola, and that could be a really, really intense battle. Hopefully we get to see the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, in terms of the action there in EML this week, and of course Portimao and Abu Dhabi to end off the season in EML going forward. And then of course we're back, TTML F2 on Thursday, along with TTML F3, of course F3 on YouTube, F2 on Twitch, F4 also on Twitch, and then we're back of course for TTML F1 Sunday night. And if there's anything to look forward to from Saudi Arabia, it's that battle that we've just had tonight. Phenomenal racing, hopefully more of the same in Belgium. We're going to end it off here. Big thank you to Pepsi as well for joining me in the commentary box. We're back after the break week, and my god, we're flying. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.